friends, and welcome back to Stronger Every Day. My name is Chrissy. It's great to be with you all. Today we're going to talk about how do I stay motivated to do anything, honestly, when I'm struggling with depression and anxiety. So we're going to talk about two things, because the way my life is now is different than it was 2 years ago. And so I want to talk about the way it was versus the way it is now. So before 2 years ago, from the time, well, since I was in middle school. So in middle school, after school, if I didn't have sports or all summer, I worked a job. And then I've worked my entire life. And then anywhere between 8, which was rare that I only worked 8 hours, to 16-hour days. Sometimes 6 and 7 days a week. And so life for me then was a lot different, right? I wasn't married, so I was financially responsible for everything, right? If I was going to have a roof over my head and electricity and water, a car to drive, gasoline to put in that car, or electricity to fill that car, food to eat, it was all solely on me. And so while that's good in a way, because I don't have others that I have to worry about, I was the sole. If I didn't work, it didn't happen. And so then, you know, Nick and I have been together 13 years. We've been married 11 and a half. And so now it's different because there's two of us. So there's two sources of income, or there was two sources of income. And then we have fur babies. We've talked that we don't have two-legged children. I was not able to do that. And so pre 2 years ago, even since Nick and I have been married, so we were a 2-income household, my days were a lot different. Since we've been together, I've worked a 8 to 5 job, and usually had some kind of side job on the side of that, whatever that might have looked like. And there were days when I called in to work that, you know, I can't do this today. I can't even handle myself, let alone. A friend of mine and I were talking the other day, and she actually works from home now, and she was saying, you know, she'd had a talk with her employer who was interested in her coming back to the office, and she said hers isn't mental health. She's got some physical things going on, but she said, I'm going to be really honest with you. I can get ready, I can get myself ready and drive myself to work, and I can give you 3 hours of actual work. The rest of the time just sitting trying to make it through. Or I could stay home and reserve my energy and give you 7, 8 hours, right, of actual work. And all of it's monitored, so they know whether she's actually doing something or not. And I think that spoke volumes to me, because that's how I felt before. That, you know, getting up, getting ready, and getting there was 3/4 of my energy, and I had 1/4 of it to deal with the day, right? And there was rarely a day that everything was smooth sailing, right? And so there was, depending on what job I had, there was very stressful, very sad days. There was a lot of days that took a lot of mental energy that I didn't have to give. And so what motivated me then, I guess, was that, you know, if I don't do this, then I'm not gonna have a home to live in, right? And so, you know, at the time I had 4-legged babies, and so they relied on me as well to feed them, to let them out, to make sure they had their medicines and vaccinations and all of that. And so that was my motivation then. And what I ended up doing was extremely detrimental to my mental health, because I just did what everybody tells you: suck it up, shut up, and move on, right? And it boiled down to, I've spoke before that on several occasions I attempted suicide, and only by the grace of God am I still here today. Only by the grace of God. And I've told you in the past, Nick and I had some very, very lean, hard years. And I've spoke that we had a loaf of bread, a thing of peanut butter, and then whatever drinks that we would drink. Like, for me, it's diet drinks, and for him, it's whatever. And sometimes we didn't have that. It would be just, you know, just tap water. And there were days that I didn't eat because his job was more strenuous and he needed the energy. Very lean years, and that was with both of us working. And now things are different for me. I work from home, so you guys see the side of me where we talk, right? And I do YouTube videos and Instagram posts about mental health. I've spoken detail that 18, 19 months ago now, God called me to help people that are in the same situation I am in. Like, take what has happened to me and what I've went through and let people know that you're not alone. There's other people like us, right? I am the example. I think we think of people with mental health as, you know, they dress in black, they don't do anything, they don't get out, they can't function in society. That's absolutely not true. Most people that I know who struggle with mental health have jobs. Whether it's a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home dad. If you think, I've spoken detail before on days that my husband's off work for whatever reason, by the time he's ready to go back, he's ready to go back. Because what I do now, we have 32 chickens that need tending to. They need fresh water every day. They need fresh food every day. We feed them their allotted amount. We have goats that need tended to and make sure they have fresh water and fresh food every day. We have dogs. We have a cat. We have one cat left. We have, this house has to be cleaned. Everything has to be handled. Our bills have to be paid. Grocery store. We volunteer. Nick volunteers for 2 agencies. I volunteer for 1. We both volunteer at our church. We have, if one of my family or Nick's family has something that needs a driver, like a procedure or someone to stay overnight, I go. I cook for our family, and so I prepare our meals. I'm not just sitting at home watching soap operas eating bonbons. Most stay-at-home parents aren't. Then you add on top of, if you're homeschooling or if you have children that have to get to and from, you're busy 24/7. And Nick has said on multiple occasions, I'm ready to go back to work to get a break. It's a lot. And so while my day's different, I don't have to be up and be out the door by 7:20, right? Now I'm up before then, but I don't have to be out in my car on the way to work by 7:20. I don't have a time stamped restraint. I have a list of things that have to get done every single day for this home to function, right? Does that mean I don't ever take a day off? Yes, I do take a day off. Typically Sunday, we go to church and Nick handles the chickens and the goats, and he also handles the dogs and Scarecrow. We technically have 2 cats, Scarecrow and Peaches. Peaches has a summer home, which is his Nana and Paul's next door. So he kind of comes and goes, but Nick handles all the kids on Sunday. I do it Saturday, so he's got kind of Saturday off. But when you have a homestead, there's never really an off day. Fences need repaired, boards need replaced, goats are destructive, and so you're having to repair what they've done. Fences go down, something drops the charge, you're having to move waters and things, you're having to, it's a constant work in progress. And so there's never a day where I'm like, you know, there's always something, even if it's not my full list that really needs to get done. There's things that have to get done, right? These animals have to be fed. We have to be fed. The bills have to be paid, right? When you live with this many fur babies, you better be on your cleaning routine, because they shed, and between them and Nick, quite honestly, there's a lot to clean up after. Now, Nick does clean up. I'm not his maid, right? But my level of cleanliness and his are different. So there's a difference there. But so staying motivated. So a few things that have helped me in both sets of scenarios. I want to be very, very open about where I was versus where I am today. Is having a to-do list. So I have a calendar, and it's just the one I got that I have for next year, I got at or the one I got for 2024, I think I got just like at a drugstore. But so this one has a list, and it has things, tasks that have to get done, and then it has things that need to get done. And then Saturdays is kind of my day if something fell through the cracks that I can kind of catch up on. But so a to-do list is great. Not only is it motivating you that you have a list of things that you need to do, so you need to get up and do them, but it's also rewarding to be able to check that off the list. And giving yourself grace that you might not get everything checked off the list, but at least making that effort. And so a to-do list for me is huge. It's motivating and it's rewarding when you're getting it done. You can use your phone, like in the notes file of your phone, you can go in there and you can make it where it's a little checklist. That's what I do my grocery list on. But so coming up with a to-do list, whatever that looks like for you, it's going to be different for probably literally every single one of us. Whatever that looks like for you, and then be able to check it off one by one. The second thing is setting boundaries, and I have a separate video on this, but so when you're struggling with depression and anxiety, for me, it's depression and anxiety, but honestly with anything, not excluding mental illness, anything, people are going to have suggestions for you, and 95% of those are well-meaning people who are just trying to help. They see that you're having a bad day or you're struggling, and either they have experience in that or they've heard people. We repeat what we've heard, right? So they might say, well, no, you don't need to take the day and stay in bed. Why don't you go for a walk? Or why don't you read a book? Or why don't you come out and watch a funny movie with me? Or why don't we go to a movie? Why don't we go for a drive? They're going to have recommendations. You have to know what's right for you. And that's why I've said it multiple times, when you're having good days, get an idea of A, what to do when you're starting to have bad days to rebound quicker, and B, to know what you can do and others can do to help you during that time. That's one of Nick's most asked questions, is what can I do to help? He just wants to help, but a lot of what he says isn't helpful because I haven't communicated with him how to help, right? Or I hadn't communicated with him. And so understanding that no, you know, going to a place where there's 1,000 people is not a good idea for me today. You know, I appreciate what you're saying, but that's not a good idea for me today. Now, maybe I do need to get out of bed and at least come watch a good movie, a good funny movie, but you have to realize that you have to have boundaries with people, and you have to have the ability to say, no, that's not going to work for me today. You also have to be open-minded enough to say, maybe that will, but you know yourself and you know what's right for you. You know what actually works. I've talked in many videos that very simple things help me. So getting up, brushing my teeth, putting on moisturizer, and putting on chapstick is what I consider my self-care routine. And that has helped night and day. Even if at that very point I'm struggling and I go get back into bed or back on the couch or back wherever my comfort zone is, I've done that little bit of self-care and it makes a difference. So setting boundaries would be my number 2. The third is self-care. And when you're struggling with mental health, I mean, let's just be real honest. You could care less about brushing your teeth. You could care less about putting on makeup. I remember one doctor I went to, man, I was in the pit, the throes of depression and anxiety. And they said to me, well, you don't look sick. I mean, you have makeup on. My mom was much more, I guess, feminine than me. When I was little, my earrings matched my socks, matched my clothes, matched my bow, everything matched, right, head to toe. And she would fix my hair every day, and then when I got old enough, I would do my makeup, and before I left, she would kind of check over to make sure I was presentable, right? That's still in the back of me, even though I don't match head to toe and I don't wear cute outfits much anymore. I still have that ingrained in me that you don't go out of the house looking like a hot mess. That's not what we do here, right? That's still in the back of my head. And yes, I cannot wear makeup and go to the doctor and look worse than maybe I actually am, or maybe look the way I feel. But I'm telling you what's going on. I'm telling you what I feel, and your opinion is, well, you look fine. It just made the mental health even worse there for a long time. And so self-care, it's just, for me, I have added a new step. So I get up, I brush my teeth, I put on my moisturizer and my chapstick, and then I change clothes. And so into actual clothes. So into either a sweatshirt or a t-shirt and blue jeans. Instead of walking around cleaning the house or doing whatever in my pajamas, or changing into like some really super comfy clothes and just kind of doing that. Now if I'm cleaning, I'm gonna wear whatever I want to wear, because I get hot when I clean. You know, I kind of go, I'm a big cleaner, and so I get hot, I get sweaty, I'm you know, there's dust and dirt and dog hair and nick, you know. So I don't care to be dressed up when I'm cleaning, but it's making that little extra step, right? And it's also increasing my water intake. But it's just a little bit of self-care, even on days when you feel like, I'm not leaving the house anyway, so I could care less. Do something. Maybe for you, it's keep the moisturizer by your side table and just pump it in your hand and put it on your face, call it a day, right? Maybe whatever that looks like for you. You might not care about any of that as far as self-care. It might look completely different for you. That's fine. You don't have to have the same self-care I do, but just some form of self-care. If you can get yourself up to do something really nice, like have a massage, or take a nice long shower, or take a nice hot bath, or if you have a hot tub and you can go sit in it, or if you have an area that you feel like getting up, whatever. We all know that that's different for us. There's sometimes we're getting up just not going to happen, and there's sometimes we have a little bit more, and there's a fine line there between doing it to make yourself feel better versus giving yourself grace to allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. So self-care, and then ask for help, right? If I'm really, really struggling, I'll say, Nick, I need you to handle the kids, you know, for an hour, or whatever that might look like. Or, you know, I need you to be the one to do all the laundry, which usually is on a day he's not here anyway. But I need you to go to the grocery store. I need you to pay this bill. I need you to mow the grass today. I need you to take the trash out. Whatever that might look like, ask for help. Like, don't just sit there and be resentful because nobody's doing anything. If you haven't communicated with them, Nick is the kind of person, he will do anything he can for anybody that he can. He enjoys helping other people. It means it makes him, you could give him the most expensive gift ever and he would be appreciative and he would love it, but it wouldn't match his love for helping others. We are very similar in that. But Nick does not pre-think out, like, well, there's dishes in the sink, so let me put them in the dishwasher, or the dishwasher just went off, so let me put the dishes up. Now, he has gotten better, but his mind doesn't go to that, where I can sit here and say, in my head, okay, the dishwasher just went off, I need to unload it, I need to reload it, I need to get supper cooked, I need to get the laundry in the washer into the dryer. His mind doesn't work like that. I can't fault him for not being the same as me, but I can say, hey, could you switch the laundry over to the dryer? Could you do this? Could you do that? I'm not mad at him because I have to ask him to do it. His brain and my brain are not the same, and I thank God for that. I don't want anybody's brain to be the same as mine. But it's adjusting to learning each other, right? It's asking for help. Maybe that means reaching out to a counselor or a therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Maybe that means reaching out. Maybe you've got a friend that you know you can count on, and you can reach out to them during a difficult time, and just asking for help when you're really on that verge, or when you're really struggling, and saying, hey, listen, I need to come to you, or you need to come to me. I'm having a really bad point. It's asking for help. And friends, I know that some of these sound super hard, especially when you're in the depths of whatever you're going through. Well, okay, yeah, let me ask for help. Like, I already think that I'm not worthy, and that I'm worthless, and that I'm taking up people's time, and that I'm basically the worst person on the face of the earth. But let me ask for help. Let me irritate some more people by asking for help. That's just the devil getting in your mind, feeding you that crap. And when you're not in the depths of it, you recognize that. But when you're in it, it's hard. And I know some of these are difficult. I'm not blind to that. I could not count the times that I have been in the throes, the depths of depression and anxiety. It's something that I've lived with for 28 plus years. So I know what I'm saying, and I know what we go through when we're feeling things. Number 5 would be routine. So getting into a routine helps you not have to think about what you're doing. So when you learned how to drive, you don't think about driving when you get in the car anymore. You just drive. Like, you're paying attention, but you just drive. If you learn how to ride a bike, you're not thinking about learning how to ride a bike once you've learned how to ride it. When you learn how to feed yourself, you're not thinking about feeding yourself. You're just going through the motions. It's second nature. So getting into a routine and keeping that routine so that your mind is not having to process what you're having to do on bad days, bad or good days. It's just one less thing that you're having to exert mental energy for if you set a routine and stick to it. And this is also talking about, we're going to go into, this is another one, but your sleep. So it's going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, even on your off days, whatever your off days look like. It's not understanding that there's always going to be an occasion something's going to pop up, but it's making mental notes that, okay, I've got to get up, I've got to get the kids up, we have to leave by 7 to get to school, and for me to get to work, I need to get home, supper needs to, you know, I either need to pick up supper, or we need to get to making supper by 5:15 so that we can have it done by setting a schedule. Whatever that looks like for you, it's going to be different for you, it's going to be different for me. Whatever the schedule will look like, setting that schedule and sticking to it. And I don't know that I've ever mentioned this before, but it's been said for years and years and years that it takes 3 weeks to develop a habit, and then 3 months, like once you've kind of made it 3 months, typically that is a habit you keep. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but it's doing it repetitively. So it might not feel great the first day, but then if you keep doing it, you get that routine. You're not having to exert that mental energy to do things. You already have a routine. It goes back to making a list, making notes of what you want to do, so that you know when you get up, I got things to do and I got to go, and you've got a routine down. So again, our mental energy is precious, right? And so when we're not having to exert that mental energy to focus on things, because they're already second nature to us, they're already in our routine, I don't even have to think about it. It helps tremendously. So number 6 would be to move your body, whatever that looks like, whether it is going for a hike, whether it's jumping on a treadmill, whether it's taking your bike for a ride, whether it's walking down the street, going to a park, going to the gym, whether it's gardening, homesteading, whether it's if your job is physically demanding, moving your body one way or the other. I've talked about before that sometimes my arthritis will get so bad that I'll just walk around the house just trying to kind of loosen my joints up. Moving your body, not just being stagnant and staying in one position, sitting on the couch, or even if you work like a 9-to-5 desk job, it's scheduling in time for you to get up, stretch, spread your legs, walk and get some water, come back, go to the bathroom, just stretch and moving your body throughout the day. I think we gloss over moving your body / exercise and our diet. And we think, well, I don't want to do those two. Those two are crucial, friends. And I'm not saying that you have to do an hour and a half at the gym every day. But you could take 15 minutes on your lunch break and walk around the building, or do some little exercises at your desk that you can throughout the day. I think we say, well, you know, 30 minutes a day is standard, so if I can't do that, I might as well not do it. It's 15 minutes more than you did the day before. So if 15 minutes is all you have, then do it. It's just moving your body. And I'm not saying, yes, it's great to get your heart rate up and get your blood pumping and get your endorphins going. Yes, that is so good for mental health. It's good for health, period. But if that's not what it looks like for you, it's just moving your body in some way. The next one is avoid negativity. So there's times when I'm struggling, when I'm in the throes of depression and anxiety, there's some people that I'm not going to be around, period. They're always negative. They're always gossiping. They're always putting people down. They're always putting me down. They're always dragging, like my energy is just zapped from 30 seconds with them. Those are the people that if my phone rings or my text comes through or an email or whatever electronic communication that we use today, I'm not going to respond to that. My energy's already zapped. You get 0 time. We've talked about in this video and in another video setting up boundaries. Certain people should not have all access to you. If you're not matching each other, those people should have less access, right? And so if I know that you're just one of those people that you just drain the life out of me every time we chit chat, your access to me anyway is going to be limited. But especially when I'm struggling with depression and anxiety, you're not the person I need to see or be around. That also goes for if you're reading something or watching something, or you're on a social media app or you're watching the news and a bad story comes on, turn it off. Don't open the email, don't open the attachment, don't open the link, don't go read about a very detrimental, sad, horrific story. Go right past it. Avoid negativity. Another one, and I'm going to have a whole separate video of this, is I have hiccups, is prioritizing sleep. And so I have been struggling. I've never had the best sleep pattern, but I have been struggling a lot with sleep lately. And so I am getting myself prepared to prioritize sleep. And we're going to have a whole video on what I'm doing to do that. But it's saying, okay, I'm going to start going to bed at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm going to get up at 6 in the morning, Monday through Sunday, right? It's setting a routine and a schedule and sticking to it. And so my screen time is non-existent past 9 o'clock. I'm not going to watch anything, turn the TV off, turn the phone off, or put it on vibrate or put it where I can't see it. Have the lights down. I'm going to relax until I fall asleep, maybe read a book, an actual book, and I'm gonna just relax. And it's prioritizing your sleep. We can't run on empty 24/7, 365 days out of the year. You can't run on empty. Something's gonna break when you do that. I can say that because it's broken. Right? It's broken. It has broken many times for me on running on empty. So it's prioritizing your sleep. And it's also, when you struggle, a lot of times I would want to sleep excessively because my reality of the day I didn't want to deal with the day. And so it's sleeping enough but not sleeping too much. So it's prioritizing your sleep time. Another one is, and we talked about this very basic, is the food, right? So if you are struggling with mental health, the last thing you care about is fixing a home cooked meal. You know, you'll eat a bag of chips, or a bag of cookies, or candy, or fast food, or whatever that might look like. And that's the exact opposite of what we need to do. And so if cooking is out of the realm of either you don't like it, you don't enjoy it, you don't know how to, or when you're in the depths of that, that's just not going to happen. Like trying to cook a home cooked meal when I'm struggling in a bad depression and anxieties, or whatever, bipolar, schizophrenia, PTSD. Again, there's over 200 different mental health diseases. So but maybe it's, instead of going to get fast food or sending someone to get fast food, maybe there's another option. Maybe it's having healthier options in the house where you can grab an apple, or grab a banana, or grab a frozen bag of mixed vegetables, or whatever that might look like. But food is huge. I don't think we really realize that with the convenience of today's world. Everything's fast, everything's in a hurry, and I can tell you that just about everything you buy from fast food and restaurants is 100% preservatives all day, every day, and crap that we don't need to be eating. But do Nick and I still eat out? Yes. And over the past probably 3 months, not the more that we eat out, but when we eat out, that's all I think about is what is this, what can I eat here that's the best option for me with the least amount of preservatives. And so again, we've talked about this, not everybody can afford organic, not everybody can afford all organic, all non-GMO, all preservative free. You have to pick and choose your battles there, but it's just making healthier options on food choices. And the last one is music. So even when I'm at my worst, even when it's too much for me to pick up my Bible and try to comprehend anything, if I can turn on some worship music, or maybe you're not a Christian, or maybe you don't like worship music, if you can turn on some uplifting music, not some sad songs, but something uplifting, and just listen to that, you'll find gradually you'll feel just a little bit better. It might not be that hour, it might not be that day, but just gradually you're gonna feel a little bit better with just some uplifting music. These are all things that I have done and actively used to make it through day to day. Is it easier for me now that I don't have a quote unquote 9 to 5 to clock in and out of? Yes. I 100% realize how blessed I am to be able to set my own schedule and work everything around my day. I 100% understand that. Is it still doable when you have a 9 to 5 job? Yes, absolutely. I survived 26 plus years working at multiple hours. Friends, I end every video this way. It's always my heart and hope that you feel this. God loves you. I love you. Your family loves you. Your friends love you. And we need you here. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.